No man will ever go and spend over 10, 15 years in jail and leave jail in jail.
Come on.
No matter how much they get here, even somebody you bring here on this platform might could tell you, I'm far from institutionalized. I'll never be this, I'll never be that. I promise you, man, it's gonna be the smallest thing that'll seep out.
And right before we started, you have to take a moment to kind of get your mindset, ready to speak about prison.
Right.
Which makes me wonder in the question as far as once you're out and, you move around the world and you're a free man, basically you're in the free world, how often does prison come to mind for yourself? How often do you think back to the days of prison, or, how often does that mentality play with your day to day?
Honestly, man, for each individual, that experience is gonna be different, because if you didn't go in to actually stay in and you just went in on a visit, prison might not affect you as much. But when you had to turn prison into your home and you was forced to adapt to an environment that was consumed by the opposition in terms of how you was actually raised when it comes to doing right and doing wrong, and you realize up in here, wrong is promoted more than doing right, it's a difference, man. So when you leave that and you get back into society, it's never the same. Like going to sleep at night, I'm not gonna lie and say I don't dream about it. I'm locked back up. I done had plenty of dreams where the dream be so damn real. I be saying it to myself in the dream, how the hell did I let this happen? And then it hurts so bad, I go back into sleep and then wake up and realize I'm free. And I be like, damn, I got to stay on top of my shit out here, man, because I can't afford to go back.
Yes. And if you don't mind, again, before we get deep into it, go ahead and reintroduce yourself and let them know how much time you did.
I'm Kane. I done did over 18 years locked up. Been on maybe 10, 15, 20 units in the state of Texas. Been around almost any nigga from any part of town in Texas. Houston, Dallas, Shreveport, all across it. Amarillo,
And I'm glad you said that, because again, 18 years of your life, man, that's a long time. So where you speak about when you're having a dream, you damn near feel like you're back in there. I would say, would you say that's normal? Because technically for 18 years, that was what you would consider your home. And to be free, as long as you've been free, you spend more time on the inside. As a grown man, as a man, you spend more time on the inside than the outside. Would you say it's still normal? Would you say it's normal, or is that a battle you still fight to dream about the free world more so?
I'm gonna put it to you like this, man. The people who love you, those are the ones who can analyze and observe you. They can see what you don't see about you. So even when I come down here to do this interview, my wife tell me, I really ain't cool with you doing that, because you come here and I'm trying to suppress the shit that you went through in jail, because you show that shit out here. When we be places, how you look at people, how you do shit, you pause, you get quiet. You go there and they'll get to having you reliving some shit, and then you'll sit up in this house and you be stern. And I'll be like, man, you tripping, man. She be like, nah, man, you don't see that shit. But I sit back and see it, and I know what the fuck be going through your head. And I be like, well, man, it ain't nothing, I'm all right. And then she's like, nah, you ain't all right, because I have to listen to that shit. When you start talking, I'm the closest thing to you, and the shit that you talk about be shit that come from prison. When you start talking about experiences and stories and what you remember, you talk about it. And I tell her, man, that's because when I got locked up at 17 and I had to do all that time locked up, when they released me, I had been held as prisoner longer than I was a free man. So of course I'm gonna have more coming from this side than I do that side. But I appreciate you listening to me though. I say, because that's what balanced me out. And that's why it's important for, have somebody next to you, man, to kind of release that shit, because if you consume it so much and you never have nobody there, living in your head in prison is one thing. But once you free and you actually got somebody you can talk to, prison done taught you silence is power. So the people around you look at silence, it ain't power. It's a weakness to them, because you have to communicate. That's the only way you're gonna make it out here. And see, in there, You can walk around all day long, man. Never say nothing to nobody. As long as they don't fuck with you, you don't fuck with them. You can live in your head all day long. So as a man thinketh, so shall he be. And to you, you everything. But out here to the people who actually sizing you up on a day-to-day basis, they can't understand you. So you unnormal to them. But to you, everything is fine. And me and her get to going back and forth sometime, man. It ain't just her. It's my brother and a lot of people because they grew up in a world where Facebook, Instagram, it's a part of their culture. So they cannot live without that. Somebody get in your inbox on Facebook, say you ugly, say something bad about you. They've been raised that person just fucked up. They did the worst thing ever. But to a man that come from being in a cell 24 hours a day, I done seen worse than that. My concerns is on keeping air flowing through my lungs. You concerned about somebody not liking your hairdo. That means your perspective is fucking you up. You will have high blood pressure before me because I'm too calm. That's not gonna move me. You literally have to stand in front of me and show me you an immediate threat, and then I'm gonna react. But the downside of captivity, man, is once you've been in the cage for so long, the emotions within a man, it eats away at them. And a lot of men don't understand why when they get out, a woman will steady bitch at them about the smallest shit. That's because he blind to it. The shit that triggers you, baby, is the shit that I look at like, baby, this simple. You tripping over something that ain't that important. Now she get to asking the questions. What the fuck matters to you? What really moves you? What you really concerned about? And you know what I tell all day long, man? I say, baby, look, prison done taught me one thing. I'm gonna appreciate today. That's guaranteed. I'm gonna value what I'm looking at and what I'm hearing right now because it means more to me than anything. I will come up with a plan for tomorrow, but that ain't no guarantee. So when you sitting back going off about why somebody said this, who don't like you, baby, ask yourself one question. If you was dying in 5 minutes, how important would any of that be? Mm-hmm. And this is what I say all the time to her when I get ready to calm her down. I think different than you. We don't think the same, but it's good that you with me because I'm gonna help ease your nerves. Because when you get to shifting off that mountain, I'm gonna show you, baby, it's a smoother way. But I had to go through something to get like that. And the shit I went through, I went and promote that and say, hey, everybody need to be trapped in a cage. Put them in the bathroom, let them sit there 23 hours a day just so they could learn to look at the world where it ain't nobody there but just them. Yeah. When people learn to adapt to that and you can come up with an answer to that, then you fit for society. But when today's era, like I say, man, people, kids, and including them, you spend more time talking to the TV, listening to the radio than you do talking to mankind. So the people who love you the most when it comes to being locked up, and you say, do you leave prison behind? No man will ever go and spend over 10, 15 years in jail and leave jail in jail. Come on. No matter how much they get here, even somebody you bring here on this platform might tell you, I'm far from institutionalized. I'll never be this, I'll never be that. I promise you, man, it's gonna be the smallest thing that'll seep out and maybe he'll know and he'll catch it and won't nobody else see it. And that goes back to them skeletons in the closet, man. Everybody can't know everything about you and know when you let everybody know everything about you because it's something that breaks everybody down and it's something that picks everybody up. And people like to keep that a secret.
That's real. You know, you could kind of mirror prison to war. You know, a lot of people go to war, Vietnam or Iraq, whatever it is, and they have PTSD coming back. Right. And let's say they did 4 tours from 18 years old. Now they're 32 and they're trying to talk to a woman or talk to a wife. And it's an amount that only so many war stories she probably want to hear. Right. But it's like, that's all I've known since I got out of school. That's all I've known. So what is the level for you as far as how much you speak about prison, as far as from the day you got out up until now? Did you kind of slowly get off of that, or do you even speak about prison to, let's say, strangers, friends, family?
Not initially, I don't. Like when I first met her, along with anybody else I met in life, they never even knew I was locked up. They never even knew I was locked up that long because I learned real fast how to adjust with society. And then as a youth coming up, I'm not gonna say I grew up around pimps and players and but see, that was kind of like part of my culture though. You know, people who learn how to have a smooth line, you know what I'm saying? Have something slick to say. You learn short con, long con. all this was like given to you from the streets. You know, it was phases to this shit coming up as a youth. You might start stealing candy out the store. You graduate to stealing dogs. You graduate to stealing bicycles. You go from stealing bicycles to breaking in houses, schools. Then you transgress into stealing cars. And then eventually you travel into drugs, robbery, and things of this nature. So it's a process to this. So my cultivation and me looking at society, coming from prison, getting back out here, I kind of pushed that back to where my demeanor would say, I ain't been to jail, because I learned how to smile. I learned how to talk to people about what they want to talk about. I learned how to take a yes, look at it like it's a no, and look at it like it's a yes. But some people don't understand it. And what I mean by that is you got to read between the lines. People will tell you directly what they want you to know, but indirectly, the shit they don't tell you is the shit you really want to know. And you got to know how to read between the two.
You had said something at the beginning where, depends on what you were like going in, can decipher as far as how you are coming out. Like, let's say you were a person who followed rules, respectful, doing everything right, and then you're going to prison. And now you have to adjust to that versus someone who was already out here wilding, basically already animal outside in the real world and going to prison. They kind of at home with themselves. So thank you for speaking on that, because that actually makes it make more sense as far as what kind of man you are when you come out. Because some people might have been that same type of person going in.